the program that engages Ghana's labor front with tenacity and perspective. I am your host, Edmond Akwe. You can watch Clock TV on all our social media handles: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and Channel 184 on GoTV. Today, our focus is on an association that represents professionals whose everyday work is not only essential, but often a matter of life and death: the Ghana Medical Association. The GMA is not just a professional body for doctors and dentists, balancing clinical duties with tough advocacy on better conditions of service for members, workplace safety, and systematic reforms within the healthcare delivery system in our country, Ghana. In a country where medical brain drain, hospital congestion, and medical financing are major medical setup, the question is, how is the Ghana Medical Association pushing for change? And what role is it playing for both national health planning and also defending workers' rights as an association? Joining us to do justice to our topic, from medical duty to national voice, the history and evolution of Ghana Medical Association, is our powerful man, Dr. Frank Sribo, President of the Ghana Medical Association. Dr. Frank Sribo, you are welcome to Walatu Walasa on Clock TV.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Beyond the policy. Dr. Sribo, it's a pleasure having you. Dr. Sribo is currently the Senior Specialist Pediatrics and the Medical Superintendent at the Bekwai Municipal Hospital, Ashanti Region, and also a part-time lecturer at the College of Health in Kintampo. Dr. Sribo has a lot of credentials. I'll rather end here and we will engage him on our beautiful topic. Doc, welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
The program is Walatu Walasa.
I like the name.
Very well.
A very beautiful name. It signifies our struggles.
So you're right.
Yes.
You're right. So we are going to look at Ghana Medical Association as an association of professionals who are made up of doctors and dentists and any other health service providers that you may add. We want to know, how did Ghana Medical Association as an association was formed? Tell us a little bit of history of the Ghana Medical Association.
Thank you very much. Just as you rightly indicated, Ghana Medical Association is an association of medical doctors and dentists. And so before the independence era, we had Ghanaian doctors, but that time they were operating under the British Medical Association, the Gold Coast version of the British Medical Association. So essentially what they were doing then was more or less meeting and having clinical meetings, looking at how to treat and manage cases, so to learn, basically to learn. But this also just limited to only doctors who were employed in the government sector.
Okay.
So if you are not employed in the government sector, you were not part of the Gold Coast version of the British Medical Association. So post-independence, after Ghana had gained independence, it became very difficult for them to operate because of the fact that it was more or less a British medical association, but just a Gold Coast version of it. They continued to meet, but the efficiency of their meetings started to decline. Fortunately, then a young man who had gone to train in the United States called J.A. Shandorf,
a Ghanaian,
came to Ghana. And then when he came to Ghana, he decided that he needed to form a new association. This time, not the Gold Coast version of the British Medical Association, but the Ghana Medical Association.
The Ghana Medical Association.
Originally, everybody thought he was just blowing hot air and he was just joking and he wasn't going to work and so forth. But then, before they realized, there was an announcement that he was going to launch the new Ghana Medical Association at the Ardens Hall, then Ambassador Hotel, and this was supposed to be on the 4th of January, 1958.
Okay. A year after independence.
Precisely. So that makes GMA one of the oldest associations around now.
No.
So luckily, actually, he had a relationship with the then Prime Minister, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Apparently, they were college mates. So somehow he was able to mobilize his forces and then, of course, mobilized the prime minister. And at 5 p.m. on the third day of the 4th of January 1958, at the Ardens Hall, the Ghana Medical Association was born. So they launched it. But the interesting aspect was that he didn't contest to be president then, even though he led Shandorf. Mm-hmm. So actually the contest was between one doctor, Dr. Ismond, and then Nanka Bruce.
Okay.
So when they finished, Nanka Bruce actually lost to Shandorf, to Ismond.
To Ismond.
So Ismond became the first president of the Ghana Medical Association. And then Dr. J.A. Shandorf then later go on to win the vice president's position. So he became the vice president. But actually, he was the architect of
the whole GMA. And now Rada went to be the vice.
Exactly. So that tells you that even though people take the lead to make sure that, but there were circumstances that actually encouraged him to do that. Apparently, he had attempted to register with the British somewhere in London because of the fact that he practiced in the US and he was denied. So that gave him the impetus to actually come back down to Ghana and to come and cause this major shift in the history of our country, leading to the establishment of Ghana Medical Association.
And the medical sector as well. So the purpose of GMA was to...
So purpose was very simple. It became the mouthpiece of all doctors. This was how even private practitioners now became part of GMA. Originally, if you were working in the private sector, you were not part of the Gold Coast version of the British Medical Association. Oh, okay. Even though there was an African version, but it wasn't active. So they were not attending meetings, they were not even forming a quorum. So that was not, it was dormant.
It was dormant.
Yes. But with his approach, that is how GMA started gaining a voice. In fact, for us, even in terms of labor activism, started from there. So talking to Nkrumah to ensure that doctors' lots is improved, and then what is for doctors, how. So negotiations for us started right from that time.
Right from that time with the dead government CPP.
Exactly, with the CPP government. Yes. And so it became a mouthpiece of all doctors. But they did not also shy away from the training aspects, so they continue to meet and they continue to talk about diseases, pathologies, and how to manage them, new trends in treatment, new drugs, and so forth, so that they could update their knowledge as they move along. And then they became an advocacy group also for all doctors. And of course, it expanded to include patients and all others.
That's great, the Ghana Medical Association. So looking at the independence era, the Ghana Medical Association was more active with the CPP government, ensuring that medical facilities are well, structured.
Yes, they were very, very active. In fact, we lost a bit of some of the things that we were even getting. At that time, the perks of a medical doctor was at par with that of a Supreme Court judge. So a lot of things they got for free. By the time you qualify as a doctor, you had your vehicle readily available for you. You had your bungalow also readily available. And wherever you are going, there is a service car that takes your things to where you are going. So there were a lot of goodies. And so doctors enjoyed so much under the CPP government. But for some reason, as we were moving along and the numbers were increasing and other governments took over, gradually, then we started losing steam. But it was quite very potent association then.
Yes. Great. So looking at the current situation of doctors as compared that of the, let's say, colonial era, otherwise independence era, things were quite better around the independence era.
Yeah, I think, it's time to reason because there were few doctors. Doctors were not as many as we have them now. I must say that probably Ghana was even probably richer than we are even now, if I dare to say, because if you look at what Nkrumah did, the things he was able to achieve, building these superhighways and all the things that he did and so forth. And the doctors were very few. So I think if you compare to the conditions that they enjoyed as to what we are enjoying now,
The difference is
The
quite
difference
big.
is quite big. In fact, it came to a point even to the extent that government was paying doctors in lieu of private practice.
Okay.
So if you are working for the government sector, and he doesn't, because government didn't want doctors who were working in government sector to go and do locums, do any private work and so forth. They were paid for that. So, and that was what was referred to as in lieu of private practice. So just because you work for government, you are paid another money so that you are not supposed to use your extra time to even go and do locums.
So you can have time for the government
hospital. And therefore enjoy your rest.
Your rest as well.
So that you don't have to be stressed. You don't have to be chasing after anything beyond even what you do for government. It was quite good.
Adding to the history, we want you to tell us, Ghana's history when it comes to political field has transformed from, independence era. We entered into a number of military regimes. Before now, we came back into democracy. Where did GMA face any major challenges during these military regimes?
So the major challenge GMA faced was during the military regime was with the Rawlings regime.
Okay.
You realize that there were times that people were being hunted and chased into places. And in fact, there were individuals who were even shot and somehow they found themselves in the hospitals. And when they find themselves in those hospitals, doctors took upon themselves their destiny to protect those people.
Yeah.
So that is where the challenge was. And there were a few times that even on the hospital bed, people were shot. And so doctors sometimes have to carry their patients and go and hide them just to be able to ensure that they treat them as well. And there were quite a number of doctors who were also well-to-do. If you remember, those were the days when you even have beer bottles in your home.
Yeah.
You are targeted. You are not allowed to have even beer bottles.
You are targeted as being rich.
Yeah, exactly.
And for that matter, you have siphoned money or something.
So there was a lot of challenges. Some people left the shores of the country just as others flee. Some doctors also left. And so that was the most, should I say, turbulent time that doctors had with the government that was in power then.
Okay, so talking about that one now, let's move into our democratic dispensation from 1992 to current. What are some of the issues that is happening to Ghana Medical Association? What is in there? What are they doing for their members, or otherwise, how have they been able to carry along the association?
I think democracy brought in this week better relationship between Ghana Medical Association and the employer being, the major employer being government. Starting from all the way from Rawlings in the democracy through to Kufuor, and then of course Atamils, Mahama, through to Nana Akufo-Addo, and now Mahama. So it's been a very interesting engagement. We've had a cordial working relationship, even though sometimes very tough, I'm sure as you agree. And one significant factor was that, as I indicated to you, doctors had a lot of goodies initially.
Yeah.
But as we moved along, almost all of it
is being cut
off. And one key thing that led to that was because most of them were not written into signed agreements. So it was more or less like a goodwill and conventions of government, and then you get this, you get that vehicle, you get that house, you get that perks, you are getting these allowances and so forth. So as we were going along, most of these were being dropped one by one, and there was no signed agreements, and doctors were seen as very gentle people. And so most often than not, they would prefer to rather sit in their consulting with their homes.
Yes.
They don't want to agitate and cause too much trouble and cause. And so it was quite interesting that as we moved along, we came to realize that doctors have no conditional service. There was nothing. So basically, it was more or less we negotiate for some allowance, and then once we take the allowance, we are giving and we move on. And that is led to us, if you remember, additional duty hours allowance.
Yes, I do remember very well.
So we got to a point in time that we had to move in because eventually our allowances had gone. Our doctors were working way over the number of hours that were stipulated to work. So we moved into additional hours allowance, which is the ADHA era. And this ADHA era brought in its wake a lot of other challenges because it was actually paid at the facility level.
Yeah.
So it wasn't coming from government, central government, or the Controller and Accountant General.
Very well.
So even ADHA became a very big challenge for us as doctors. We always had to fight. There was always the need for doctors to go on strike and there were pockets of strike because you find that one hospital has paid this additional hours allowance, another hospital hasn't paid, and then it continued. So government realized that it wasn't sustainable. It was something that it's actually going beyond just the doctors. So everybody who was working in the health sector now started advocating for additional duty allowance. The nurses were taking it, even accountants who were working were taking it. So everybody wanted to take a DHA. So it became very difficult to sustain. And so
because it became burden on government.
It became a big burden on the facilities because the facilities were paying. So by extension, government.
Yeah.
So at a point, it got to a time that government realized that there was a need for them to do something about it. And all of these allowances were not factored into our pensions as well. So then the committee was put together. I think that was a time that Akosai, former president of GMA, was Director General of Ghana Health Service.
What year would this be?
It was during the Kufuor era.
Okay, so the 90s, late 90s, 2000s.
Getting to the 2000s.
Yeah.
So gradually a committee was set, and the committee now moved into action, and later they decided to consolidate the base pay and the ADHA. And so that was when we moved from the Ghana Universal Salary Structure into the Health Service Salary Structure. So there were two structures. One was HSS1, that was for doctors, and HSS2 for the other health workers. Simply because the ADHA of doctors was quite huge.
They didn't want to do it.
So it didn't want to fit into the other one. Yeah. So then it was consolidated. So ADHA became a thing of the past. And then health service salary structure took over. So even then, doctors still realized that it wasn't enough because it meant that there was nothing on housing, there was nothing on fuel, and fuel allowance was being paid at facility level, checked. There was nothing on car maintenance. Virtually, it's just your salary, and then you move. So somewhere 2015, we took the decision that we needed to fight for a proper conditions of service. And this was under the presidency of Dr. Kwabena Opoku-Edusei. I was then the General Secretary.
You were then the General Secretary?
Yes. And I think that was the time that we embarked on the longest strike in this country. if you remember, it was quite serious.
Very serious.
Yes. So even though at that time we had left HSS and we had come to single spine pay policy, because I'm sure there's a history of single spine pay policy, we all know.
That the spine is not single.
Exactly. So we all know that. So even though we had come onto the single spine, it also brought in its wake certain issues because single spine was supposed to be equal pay for equal work done and other factors that came into being. So in 2015, GMA decided that we needed a conditional service. So it took a long fight. In fact, the strike for almost a month.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was one of the longest. I think that is the last time GMA actually embarked on a strike action. And since that time, so sometimes when people talk about GMA having embarking on strikes and so forth, I said that we've not been on strike for the past 10 years.
Yes, I'm sure maybe some people confuse you with the nurses.
Yes, since 2015, GMA hasn't embarked on any strike. So it was after that strike that the conditional service for doctors was born. Yes.
Okay, we'll come to that, but I want us to go a little bit back.
No problem.
Tell us how the category of doctors that you would find in our system, Ghana. You know, like you are a pediatric doctor, a specialist. What are some of the fields that you would also find?
So generally, we do have doctors who per rank, we move along the ranks.
Okay.
So the ranks are such that when you finish school and you come out, you do what we call housemanship.
Housemanship.
So you are a house officer for that matter. Housemanship has tweaked. It was initially 1 year, became 2 years, and so you are called. There are people first year are called junior house officers, second year are now called senior house officers.
Okay.
But in the past, you just do 1 year house job and you become a medical officer. So from the medical officer rank, you go to a senior medical officer, become a principal medical officer, and then a deputy chief and a chief medical officer.
Okay.
But then that is where it ends, and all of these ranks are general practitioners.
Okay.
So they practice generally. They don't have specific fields in which they practice. But if you decide to go into specialization, then it means you need to pick a field that you can actually specialize in. And so there were various fields that you could specialize in. The major ones that were available at the time, or even now, is that you have people who are majoring in the surgical fields. But even the surgical fields, there are plenty of them.
Plenty.
You can go into cardiology or cardiothoracic surgery. You can go into plastic surgery. You can go into neurosurgery. You can go into orthopedic surgery. You can go into gastroenterological surgeries. You can go into urology. You can go. So there are so many fields, even in the surgical field, that you can specialize in. And so it takes bits and pieces of it for it. Same thing is the medical field. Even in the medical field, even though you realize that we do have internal medicine, we take of the adults, even without that, within that there are subspecialties.
Okay.
People are doing endocrinology, others are doing cardiology, others are doing gastroenterology, others are... So even there are subspecialties that people can branch into. The same thing with pediatrics. Pediatrics essentially is about children, and yet even in pediatrics, there are people who just take care of only the newborns, and they are referred to as neonatologists.
Okay.
So they do the newborns, others do the older children. They are general pediatricians, and within that, there are certain few categories that you can have, and there are even surgical fields that do only pediatric cases, and so they are called pediatric surgeons. And then you move on to the obstetric gynecology. The same way, I think they are the most popular ones because of course they take care of the women.
So everybody says, my friend is a doctor and is a guy.
Yes, a gynecologist, and they are most popular ones.
Is there this special pleasure at that particular
I think so, because they take care of women. It's quite a special field, you know.
Yes, I can imagine.
So they will see you through your pregnancy, ensure that after, if they need interventions, you are taken care of, and then the gynae issues that people come with the fibroids and all the things that women have, and so they manage them. And even sometimes now, people have moved into very, very fine specialties, even in the obs and gynae now, where people are doing only oncological cases. That's cancers that affect this reproductive system, or so for women. So that is where they are. Others are even into fertility, and I'm sure now you hear about fertility clinics. They are doing a good job ensuring that people who, if there were no interventions, probably couldn't have given birth, now could have their own children. And that is also another special field that area that there is even in obs and gynae. So even there are a lot of branches here and there. There are other areas that have emerged. Radiology is a very one big area. I mean, in terms of if you go and take your X-rays, you take your scans, you take your MRIs, you take your CT scans, and so forth. There's someone whose job is to be able to interpret
all those information
all
that
those
comes
tests
out,
so that they can tell you that this is what we are seeing, this is what is wrong, this is what we can do. And even within that, there are certain diseases that they intervene, radiological interventions. So they can do some of the wild interventions that you can think of.
You can think of.
So if people even have strokes and there are clots, they are able to do these interventions to go and make sure that they remove the clots. They are able to do interventions to ensure that if there's bleed, they are going to go to clip the bleed. And so many things are going on. And recently, I'm sure you remember, we lost one doctor in Kumasi, where we said that we didn't have a cardiac catheterization lab. And so we lost him. It's same thing. If you have that, like a heart attack, they are able to do some magic with certain equipment to make sure that they take away the heart attack and then you are relieved. So there are so many fields.
The medical field is very, very wide.
It's a very wide
I think the
field.
common ones that I'm sure my
very
viewers
wild
also
fields.
know about will be, dentist,
Yes.
eye and ear.
Yes.
But all that you've said were very deep ones that
there are so many,
has really
so many
enlightened us.
fields. Even within the dental area, there's diverse. Some are doing maxillofacial surgeries, so they can replace your jaw. They can.
Oh, I see.
They are doing so many things in there. So some are there who they can take all your teeth and give you new set of teeth. So they are doing some wonderful things.
Wonderful job.
And in fact, and all of these things are happening in this country as well.
That's amazing. I wanted to ask that question. How are students interested in the medical field? If you go to, let's say, a secondary school now, and you pick, let's say, 50 random students, and you question them, what do you want to be in future?
I think the dynamics are changing, even though the interest is very high still. You have a lot more people who want to become doctors because of the so-called
social this thing that we give
attraction
them,
that it brings and so forth. But the dynamics are gradually shifting into the IT areas. So now you get brilliant students who don't want to have anything to do with medicine. They want to do some of these wild computer things and so forth. AI things.
We'll come to AI and
it's even though still medicine is quite an attractive field because of the fact that employment is readily available. And so once you finish, you are easily able to employ. And even if you want to leave the shores of the country, it's also one of the easy vehicles to ride on to be able to get out of the country. So
let's look at those who also study outside and come
back
as doctors.
Yes.
What procedure must they pass through before they are accepted by the Ghana Medical Association or otherwise given accreditation?
So the procedure is not very different from those who train in Ghana. First and foremost, before you are accepted into Ghana Medical Association, you are supposed to have gone to a medical school or a dental school. So once you are done, you should be certified by the university, and the university should be accredited. So once you bring your certificate, the next step is that are you recognized by the Medical and Dental Council? So the Medical and Dental Council also have to certify you, giving you licenses to be able to practice medicine in the country. Ghana. So once you satisfy those two criteria, then we are able to say that you can register with us to become part of the Ghana Medical Association. But most people are members by default. And I would say they are members by default because once they pass their exams, they get their certificates, Medical and Dental Council certifies that you can work and you are employed. Once you are employed and your dues starts coming in, you are a member, but we all still encourage people to register. So that we can do. For the foreign trained doctors, the key thing is about the Medical and Dental Council. Because when they come in, because Medical and Dental Council has no jurisdiction over where they trained, they are unable to actually make inputs or even able to make any kind of inputs into their curriculum, and they have no relationship with the universities where they train. So when you come back, the Medical and Dental Council says that they have to examine you to ensure that you are not
the job.
Exactly. You are not somebody who has gone to do something else, and then you have just walked in and you say you want to practice. So they will set exams for you to write, and once you write the exams and you pass, coupled with your certificate, we can say that yes, it's true. So the exams is supposed to test you the basics of medicine, so that once you are a doctor, you should be able to pass that. So that is for the foreign trained. In fact, even if you're a locally trained doctor and you leave the shores after medical school, and you go out there and you don't do your housemanship and get into the permanent register, and then you come back,
you have to do it.
Medical and Dental Council would ensure that you write the exam after a period to ensure that when you went out there, you went to do something relating to medicine. And not just go and do something else, so you've forgotten your staff and you are not coming back. So the essence of it is to ensure that the right people...
That is quality control.
Exactly.
Viewers, we are learning a lot. We'll go for a break, and when we come back, we will delve into the issue of healthcare delivery itself in our country, Ghana. We'll be right back.
Walatu Walasa.
And we are on our show, Walatu Walasa, your Labor Digest program here on Clock TV. We have in our studio Dr. Frank Stribo, who has been walking us through the Ghana Medical Association's history and some of the issues that are in there. We continue looking critically at healthcare delivery itself in our beloved country, Ghana. And we are, Dr. Stribo, let me ask you, what are the various levels of healthcare delivery in our system?
So for us in Ghana, we do have levels. So people walk into hospitals and they think that a hospital should be able to do everything
for them, yes.
But it is not like that. Okay. So at the community level, you may have a small place that you can just go check your blood pressure, check your distance, what we call the CHIPS compound.
The CHIPS compound, okay.
So that is usually manned by public health nurses. You have a few nurses who are there who are able to do that. Mm-hmm. So they would be able to treat you for minor ailments. If you have a cut, they will be able to dress the wound and stuff like that and give you immunization and so forth. But after that, there's another level that you can go to, and that is the level of the health center.
Okay.
Usually at the health center level, you would have a midwife who probably can do deliveries. You will have a physician assistant who should be able to
diagnose and
prescribe.
Okay.
So hardly would you find a doctor at the health center level. So most often than not, you find these levels of...
And they are able to handle the situation.
Able to handle the situations that if normal deliveries, not complicated ones, they are able to also do some of the antenatal clinics. Okay. And then the things that CHIPS compound are doing, they are also able to
upgrade it in the form of upgraded.
Of that. Beyond that is a polyclinic.
Great.
So at the level of the polyclinic,
polyclinics are very popular.
You should have a doctor at the polyclinic. So once you get to that point, it means that healthcare begins to get a little bit complicated. So it means they are able to diagnose complex things, do a little bit, few surgeries at that level, not major surgeries.
Mm-hmm. Still carrying on
the delivery. Exactly. Okay. And maybe cesarean sessions can be done, normal surgeries can be suturing, others. So
they have a lab as well.
They have a lab that does the minimum.
Okay.
So that becomes the polyclinic. So once you leave the polyclinic, you enter into the primary hospitals, and these are mainly the district and municipal hospitals. So here, it is not only one doctor.
Okay.
Then you begin to have doctors there are more doctors in there. They are able to do a little bit more things. They are able to do higher admissions. Mm-hmm. So at the level of the health center, for example, they are supposed to only do detention. They detain, they can't admit.
They can admit, yeah.
If they have to admit you, they have to refer to a polyclinic or a primary health center. So when you get there, their labs are a little bit complicated. They do a little bit more labs. They will have an X-ray machine. They may have a lab that can do your full blood count. They can, and there are a lot more doctors at that level of the primary health center. So if you hear, for example, you hear Osai Osudoku Hospital. It's a primary hospital. It's a district municipal hospital. You can hear Bekwai Municipal, where I work. It's actually a primary hospital. So at that level, the services are a little bit on the higher side. Even you may find specialists at that level. So that is where the primary health level is. So you get a higher level of care at that time compared to a polyclinic. So when you move on from there, you move to the secondary facilities.
We are learning.
So most of these secondary facilities are the regional hospitals. So at the regional hospital, it is required that they have a certain number of specialties. So you should be able to get a pediatrician, get a surgeon, get an obstetrician gynecologist, get all those, and their services are supposed to cut across everywhere. So, and they should have a higher ability to carry out certain labs compared to even the primary level.
So it means their facilities
are bigger. They are able to do blood cultures. They are, even in certain cases, certain CT scans and so forth. So that is the secondary facility that you find yourself. So the regional hospitals, if you come to Greater Accra Regional Hospital, that's a secondary facility.
That's a secondary facility.
Secondary facility. If you go to Koforidua Regional Hospital, that's a secondary facility. If you go to the Kumasi South, that Kumasi South Hospital is a secondary facility. So it's the same thing that goes to Eastern Regional Hospital, Western Regional Hospital. Those regional hospitals are supposed to be secondary facilities. So in fact, the primary facilities should be able to refer to the secondary facilities. So for example, if you have a case in Bekwai, you should be able to refer to the Kumasi South Hospital, which is a secondary facility.
That is if Bekwai is not able to handle.
Then from there, you begin to go to the tertiary hospitals. Yes. This is where the wild things that I talk about is done. So here, you probably have cardiothoracic surgeon who is able to open the heart and do some of those things, surgeries. You should have the high equipment. So if you hear me, you should. It doesn't mean that it's all there. So you should have your MRIs.
The facility is lacking. We'll come to that.
You should have your MRIs. You should be able to do radiological interventions, like somebody has a heart attack. You should be able to intervene. They have a stroke. You should be able to do the super wild things at the level of the tertiary hospital. So the tertiary hospitals, you have Kolebu, it's a tertiary hospital. You have Kofanochi. It's a tertiary hospital. Tamale Teaching Hospital.
It's also
supposed to be a tertiary hospital. And now Sunyani Teaching Hospital is also supposed to be a tertiary. Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. So all those teaching hospitals that you hear,
how about 37?
37 in itself, they are doing a lot more like a tertiary facility. So those are the levels that they play. So they play at a very high level. And so ideally, before you even get there, you should have been referred from a lower facility to, even though some of these tertiary hospitals operate a polyclinic.
If you go there straight, it means they will handle you at the polyclinic.
So the polyclinic will take care of you. Otherwise, you are not supposed to actually go there straight.
And pick a card and end up there.
And that is one of the key reasons why people end up there. They go enjoying long queues and they get frustrated. And because that is supposed to be a super special hospital that takes care of special things. And their load shouldn't be too high. They should rather be looking at those special cases that if they can handle, then they move to the fourth category. Until recently, we didn't have the quaternary, but that is the University of Ghana Medical Center. That is our quaternary hospital.
So that's supposed to be the ultimate among
all. So that for all of us, our ultimate is supposed to be the University of Ghana Medical Center, because that is supposed to be a quaternary hospital. So ideally, transplants are supposed to happen there. So if you have a kidney transplant, a heart transplant, whatever, those kind of super things, unimaginable things
Human,
that doctors are supposed
repair,
to
human repair.
exactly are supposed to happen there. And so those are the levels of hospitals that we have.
That we have.
So, but usually people go to hospitals and they think that, oh, once I've gone to the hospital and I've been seen, every hospital is a hospital. So why is it that they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that?
But that's not the case.
So every hospital has its own abilities and levels that, even though there are times that hospitals graduate. If you remember, Tamale Teaching Hospital used to be a regional hospital.
The regional hospital,
And then its
facilities were added,
expanded, and then it's able to. But these facilities come with human resource. So if you don't have the right human resource, you should have your base of doctors who are specialist doctors who are there.
Yes.
You have your base of nurses who are specialist nurses who are there. You have to have your base of supporting staff who are also able to support this kind of high level of services. So your labs, your radiographers and radiologists should be high there, so that they can complement the services at that level.
They have to provide.
So every level has its own human resource requirements that you are supposed to be able to meet. So once you meet it, HIFRA, which is a health regulatory facility, the Health Facility Regulatory Authority is able to come in and say that, okay, you have all of this, so we can accredit you to do this. But even though we've had cases where government fiats have just said, this is a teaching hospital, and now even though they have been, given the teaching hospital status, they would now start working towards achieving it. Okay, so in cases like some, but it's all good, because once that is done, then it creates room for them to be able to expand, to be able to meet that level that they have.
So it's a challenge that has been thrown to them. Now try and meet
it's quite distant, but that is the levels of hospitals that we have.
I think this is quite informative, and I thank you very much for that. Now, looking at all these levels of hospitals and clinics that we have, there is the private sector too.
Yes.
Where do they for the private sector
hospitals?
So
the private sector, you can have a private sector that is more like a primary hospital.
Okay.
You can have a private sector, how do you say, a clinic. Yeah. So it's a clinic. It means that you probably have only one person or two people, or two doctors or one doctor running it with even something. And so every time you go, Cerebral Clinic, you go and meet Dr. Cerebral, Dr. Cerebral's deputy, or Dr. Dako or somebody. And that is the clinic is supposed to be able to ensure that you have the basic minimum of health care. You can be detained. Ideally, clinics are not even supposed to admit you beyond 48 hours.
Yes.
So you are detained, and then if they think that it's stabilized, and then you are moved on. But the private sector has grown. There are private sector facilities that are operating like primary facilities. They have several doctors and departments. Some are even operating almost like tertiary institutions. If you go to the IMA hospitals, even though it's somehow government trust hospitals and so forth, you will find almost all the specialties there. So, and some of the places, there is even a linkage between them and the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, whereby they are training specialist doctors in certain fields. And these are within the private sector. So the private sector has actually grown very big. From the time that when we were young, we used to see just a small clinic and so forth. Now you see some private clinics that are quite huge, and they'll do so many things.
Great. Let's look at the major challenges that our healthcare system faces as a country. We all know that on most occasions, government is being lambasted for poor, healthcare delivery. We even have certain top officials going outside the country to go and assess healthcare and all that. What are the major challenges as a country we are facing when it comes to healthcare delivery? So the
challenges are quite. It's almost like a vicious cycle, because we take 1-2 steps and then we seem to go backwards and so forth. We do have human resource challenges. There are some of these specialties that I talk about that sometimes it's very difficult to
find.
Yes. So there are gaps there that we need to look at. In fact, recently with the advent of this brain drain, we are having a lot of our nurses also leaving. So there are gaps, huge gaps in there.
Within there.
Because when COVID actually came in, most of the Western countries lost their health workers. And then because it's like a food chain, they are far stronger than us because they can pay better, and so they poach our people. And then, so there are gaps. In fact, if you go to most of the facilities, you on the system, you may think they have so many nurses, only to get there and realize that almost half of them are gone. Yes. And it's the same thing so there are human resource challenges that we need to look at. And it goes beyond just the nurses. There are pharmacists, there are laboratory personnel, there are others. All of them, there are areas that we believe we need to look at to be able to. But the very point is about the payroll. Governments, in terms of the health budget, government believes that they are virtually spending almost everything on the salaries of
doctors,
health workers. And so they are unable to meet the human resource needs that actually we are supposed to be able to meet. And the other aspect of it is that most of these human resource available, the distribution is also very poor. Because we do have a lot more doctors in Accra,
in the south,
Kumasi, and then
that is more in the urban areas,
urban centers, leaving the rural areas as we move into the hinterlands, it dwindles, and you would realize almost everybody is packed in these areas. And that is also a major challenge because the maldistribution is also affecting healthcare delivery
within our country.
So if you move away from the human resource
as a
deficiency, then you come to our needs for equipment.
Another major area.
That is a major disaster. In fact, there are two areas when it comes to these equipments. First and foremost is the fact that some places the equipment don't exist at all.
At all.
So you probably need to have a CT scan done, and you realize that most facilities which are supposed to have it don't even have it. And you are supposed to have certain labs done, and then you realize that the equipment are not available in those facilities that they are supposed to have them. You are supposed to have some kind of radiological intervention done, and the equipment for that is not there. Apart from that, there are certain places where the equipments are there, but they are not functional. Maintenance. It's a key problem that we have. In fact, it is even bigger than the non-availability of the equipment.
Because you can't imagine the equipment being there, yet it's not operational. It's more painful than it's not being
precisely.
there.
So you go to most of these facilities, you ask them, do you have this? They say yes. So can I have access? And the answer is no. Why? It's not functioning. So maintenance is very difficult. We don't have enough maintenance to be able to maintain the equipment that we have. Then transportation. When we talk of transportation in the health sector, I'm sure one of the key things that come to mind is the ambulance service. And we all know for the ambulance service, the way these ambulances have been run down even when they are available. And in most cases, they are not available. If you want an ambulance, the struggle you may need to go through to get an ambulance is huge. Same thing, spare parts are not available. The ambulances are not readily available. Sometimes you may have to pay out of pocket to be able to have access to an ambulance, which in quotes shouldn't have been the case. So it is very dicey in that field. But all of this encompassing is the issue of healthcare financing.
Very well.
So that incorporates everything. It's a huge challenge. Is the healthcare financing.
The healthcare financing. Doc, let me ask you. In Ghana, every year, if you look at the number of students who graduate from the various, medical, institutions that we have, it's quite huge. Yet we complain that there are no human resources to deliver healthcare services, because as we speak now, there are a number of nurses who have been home for almost about 3 years, and they are waiting for what they call postings. Yet they have not been posted. Yet the medical facility is lacking a nurse to be there to ensure that their certain healthcare delivery is given. Why is this so?
Yeah, it baffles my mind just as it's baffling your mind. I know that for the Ministry of Finance, they look at these numbers in terms of figures, like monetary figures.
Yeah.
We look at it in terms of life. In fact, there are doctors who are home, even as we speak.
Okay.
We have doctors who are supposed to get clearance. They don't have clearance, or they have clearance. They are still waiting to be employed. They are still waiting to be posted. And there are batches of doctors that are home now. And these people are needed. It's not like we don't need them, but they are home. They are waiting on Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Health
to
get
clearance.
them through so that they can employ them and post them to come and support. The same thing with the nurses. We have several batches of nurses who are sitting at home. But the danger with the doctors is that when they sit at home, what happens is that most of them begin to write these foreign exams.
But by the time you see now,
so even at the time you employ them, because they have already passed the foreign exam, they are only marking time. They come in within a short period, they are gone. So I keep saying that when you wait, you give room for people to get minds to
do other things,
And then before you can even say Jack, they are gone. The best approach would have been from house job, you offer the employment for the numbers that you think you can take. And then they start working. And if whatever you want to do with the rest, you do. But even then, the private sector begins to pick some will stay. And if they even stay, they still contribute to the same healthcare delivery within the system. So, but unfortunately, they would stay home for years, 1 year, 2 years, and they are still home. And then before we realize they are gone. So I think it's the same thing. The issue is that we do have them, we need them. It's not even what they are available is not enough, and yet same issue of payments and stuff like that.
Looking at it, all falls under the health financing.
Yes, it's all because of money.
All because of money. We have to look for money as a country. Doc, we'll look at how, as an association, what are some of the interventions when it comes to, you are limited, are you? Or you're able to give some kind of interventions towards, solving some of these problems that we find in the health?
So we are seriously limited because our influence goes not too far beyond the advocacy bit that we can do. So as an association, one key thing is to advocate. Even though we have also gone into partnership with other social partners to try and support the health system. In fact, Ghana Medical Association recently had some kind of partnership with Chilium Industries, the producers of Ghana Water. We had Stanbic and others.
I'll let you hold on that. I think we'll go for a break. This is an interesting area I would like us to really spend time on. We'll go for a break, and when we come back, we'll look at some of these issues that Dr. Cerebral is going to raise. We'll be right back.
Walatu Walasa, Nadia Wonso, Ayua, Birisu.
Delivery in our country. as the Ghana Medical Association president, he has really walked us through a lot when it comes to health delivery in Ghana. Doc, let me ask you, as an association, okay, what is some of your influence that you have when it comes to health policy planning?
So, as an association, our influence is historical. In fact, I'm sure most of you may not know, but one of the babies of the Ghana Medical Association is actually the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because Ghana Medical Association realized that almost every doctor who needed to specialize either had to travel out of the country or go to the sub-region to get their specialization done. And most often than not, when they go, they don't come back. So the question is, why don't you establish a college here that will train the specialists so that once you train them here, they are most likely to stay here? And so it was through advocacy and all the things that we did that led to the Kufuor administration finally giving in and establishing the College of Physicians and Surgeons. And so it was through the advocacy of the Ghana Medical Association. In fact, Ghana Medical Association was also very instrumental in the establishment of the national health insurance that we have. Because what happened was that, if you remember cash and carry.
Yeah, I remember cash and carry very well.
So cash and carry was essentially when you are sick and you go to the hospital, you have to pay out of pocket before you are attended to.
Yes.
So it became very, very...
And I remember around that time, people were really dying because they didn't have the money to...
So sometimes people have accidents,
and they
come in, and no relative even have heard about that the person had an accident. If something small is done, and then the point is that the person cannot pay, and so you are left till payment comes in, or no hospital wants to run at a loss.
Yeah.
And then that became a very big challenge
and
for us.
It's not a fault of the medical personnel.
Exactly. It became a big challenge for even doctors and the medical personnel that, why should we look on for...
Because they are humans as well.
And interestingly, sometimes people would die only for you to realize that they are quite wealthy
to be able to pay for
them. Could have paid, but because of the condition in which they found themselves in. So GMA mounted a spirited destiny that we should have some insurance that takes care of our healthcare, so that in times of our destiny, we will be able to ensure that we are saving lives. And that is what gave birth to the National Health Insurance Scheme that we are all enjoying.
Yeah, that's not your field, though, but how is it faring so far?
I think it's doing very well, even though people may have some few challenges here and there because of the fact that when you go to hospital, maybe you are asked to pay a token, some places and stuff like that, which the National Health Insurance Authority is actually working on. I must say that the payments now has become a little bit regular. They are paying the facilities.
Yeah, government is paying the facilities. In recent times, they've paid quite huge amount of money.
What we need them to do is to look at the tariffs. And especially now that there has been the decapping of the national insurance tariffs. Because at first, there was some cap on the insurance that we all pay through the various means, whether the levies and so forth. But now it has been opened up, no decapping. So a lot of funds are going there. So they need to look at the tariffs. And I'm sure if they're able to look at the tariffs very well and ensure that the facilities that offer the services are paid at the right amount, the right time, we will have a very more robust and efficient national health insurance.
Yes.
But our national health insurance is one of the best across
the sub-region
and even in Africa. Even
it's
one of the best.
It's good to hear.
It's good, and I think we should applaud it.
We should really applaud it. Moving forward from that, let's look at some of the emergencies that health insurance would want to cover. I'm told it covers just some few light cases.
Oh no, I think it's the coverage has expanded over the years, and so it's gone way beyond the few that we are seeing, and even until recently, it's delved into areas that hitherto wasn't dealt with: childhood cancers and breast cancers, and all of them are now under health insurance. So health insurance's coverage has really, really expanded. It's really expanded.
Great. So it's good to hear that national health insurance was initiated by the Ghana Medical Association. We say kudos to you.
Yes,
we want you to push in more, advocacy at that level so that all that you said about it being more efficient is well executed. I think our people really need that. Some others have their own mutual health insurances, but in the generality of Ghanaians, the National Health Insurance is here to help. Now, moving a little bit away from the health delivery care system, let's look at Ghana Medical Association as an association dealing with your stakeholders when it comes to fighting for conditions of service and other things for other welfare issues for your members. How has it been so far?
I'm sure you know it's not been easy. I mean, it's a very fluid situation, and so it's almost like every now and then you need to go and fight for A and B and so forth. Until recently, we were very, very satisfied with a lot of things because we went into negotiations. For example, we had our conditional service renewed. With the advent of the new government, we are still having challenges now. There are certain things that the government has suspended, and they are attempting to vary even our current conditions of service that we have. If you look at, I'm sure you remember the almighty car waiver. Doctors had some car waivers that we so as we speak, government for some reason has suspended it. We don't know when they say that it didn't go to parliament, but I thought that government has a majority in parliament at the moment. And if they want to push anything through parliament,
they should be able
to do that. But they have used that as a leverage to ensure that they have suspended same. And we are talking about it. We've been at it for so many months now. We've not been able to get it sorted. But it's one major issue for us that we believe should be dealt with and dealt with comprehensively. There are issues relating to our market premiums that are still outstanding. There are issues relating to the teachers who are in the universities. You remember doctors, we have some doctors who are in the universities and they are actually the ones who train doctors.
To be on the medical field.
And we have some major issues relating to some of the allowances that the government has at today. We have still not been able to get it sorted out. So there are so many fluid issues that are pending at the moment as we speak. We are trying to work at it behind the scenes to try and make sure that we do some kind of an amicable solutions to them. But it's not easy. And so it's always like every now and then letters are coming and going. One key aspect of also is the healthcare of the doctors. Because for doctors who get sick and within their own facilities, they have to pay out of pocket.
Can you imagine that?
It's also something very, very worrying. And so recently when I heard that Kolebu has announced that they are going to take care of their staff 100% of whatever then it means something is happening. But bottom line is that it's like even though we are the providers of healthcare and we are selling the health, and yet the health is not free for us. So we have to struggle like any other person to pay out of pocket beyond the national health insurance. If there is anything beyond that, we have to pay. And now, a lot more doctors are getting very complicated illnesses. Cancers, renal problems, brain issues, that as an association, sometimes we have to cough up huge sums of money
to support.
You write letters through to your employer because from our condition of service, the employer is supposed to provide us with health care. And it takes forever to get a response.
Yet the patient is dying.
Yes. And so you need to find a way to deal with it. So there are major issues that are happening within our association that we are trying to fight and resolve. So it's not been easy. Even though you may see us that we are quiet these days and you think that everything is fine with us. No, there is a lot of, should I say, turbulence around, and yet we are looking calm. But,
of course, you are doctors. You have to look calm so that you can really.
It's not easy.
You can really.
But I think government will have to look at some of these issues and look at them very quickly. Because we never know when it will escalate into something else, and I think that is important. And as we speak, even workplace safety has also become another issue.
It's another issue.
What is going on at Reg and so forth.
I wanted to ask you about workplace safety.
If you are in the hospital, anybody can pick a camera and walk into the hospital and start filming your work and film patients who have their privacy to be protected and so forth. All those issues have to be looked at because regardless of whatever, is going on. You don't need to go and beat anyone. You don't need to go and shout at anyone. But the fact that you can even pick a camera and go and
that's invasion of
that
privacy.
is a big invasion of privacy that we need to make sure that the workspace is secured. Because if that doesn't happen, what is going to happen is that it will come to a point in time, health workers will decide that their safety is also important.
It's also important.
So anytime anything like that happens, they will have to move away
for their
own
sanitized.
safety until the place is sanitized. And when that happens, there may be people who may be needing critical care that would be abandoned.
Would suffer.
So I think those are also emerging issues that we may need to look at and see how best. I am not saying that our system is perfect.
Yes.
We know there are challenges.
Yeah.
Even for us as doctors, when you move to certain places to seek healthcare, sometimes you are not happy with how the reception is, how you are treated, and so forth. But there are avenues.
Some of the delays.
Exactly. And even sometimes the persons you come into contact with, you realize that it's as if they don't care about you. They don't. Once they don't know you, so you are a nobody and stuff. But that is because of it's part of the system. And once you have those challenges, there are remedies for you to be able to ensure that to address them instead of taking a camera and then shouting.
Because in the first place, patients who walk into the
cannot be the solution.
Patients who walk into the clinic or hospital need sound mind to be able to
recover. And what people don't even know is that there are people who come to hospital, they don't want anybody to know they are there.
They are even there.
Yes, because they think that is their privacy. They don't want anybody to question why they have gone into the hospital and so forth. And a few people just even come to hospital just to have some kind of a solemn moment so that they hide away from the pressure because their blood pressures are high and so forth, and they just need a quiet place to just come and rest and ensure that their BPs are controlled and so
all of a sudden they hear noise
so
all
much
over, chaos all over.
So I think those are some of the emerging issues that we may need to do.
Facilities must be clean and it must be clean as such.
Precisely.
They need more sound mind to be able to deliver their job. Doc, let's look at doctor to patient ratio countrywide. Then after that, we'll be running up by looking at some of your affiliates that you have as association. So
our doctor-to-patient ratio is quite dynamic. I think I alluded to the fact that when you come into Ghana, you realize that most of the doctors are in the urban areas. So you would realize that makes the ratio a little bit unbalanced. But generally, it's about 1:10,000, 1:8,000 thereabouts. So, and that is
what's supposed to be the ideal situation, like best practice?
The best practice should be in the thousands, just about maybe 1:2,000.
1:2,000.
Yes. So we are still nowhere near that. But you would notice that in certain places it could be 1:12,000 because there is few doctors with
more population.
And most of our population are actually in the rural areas.
Yes.
And yet
the doctors are not there.
So the
incentives must be given to doctors to enter into the rural areas.
I think this is a discussion that is on the table. It's been on the table of the Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service for a long time. Because they talk about deprived area incentive allowances. And these deprived area incentive allowances not only for doctors, for nurses and other health workers. So that it becomes more or less like a magnet to attract people to be able to go and work there. And it should be a deliberate policy. To be deliberate, to decide that even when there are certain areas that are marked, that when you go there, maybe you are going to get something beyond what somebody who sits in Kumasi or Accra gets. So that becomes a motivational factor.
That becomes a motivation. I think it's so much of a simple matter.
It's something that it's been on their table for forever.
It's so much of a simple matter. I wonder why this would not be considered.
It's not happening.
Despite the financial challenges. I think these are solutions.
Precisely. So, if every health worker, a laboratory person, a radiographer, a nurse, a doctor finds himself in a certain place,
it should
not be the same as Somebody who is in
sitting in
Accra
Kumasi,
or Kumasi,
Pankrono
and then those
area,
things.
or maybe
Exactly.
Bekwai.
Because you have all the facilities available to you to be able to access. Meanwhile, probably in that place, even water is a problem.
It's a problem, yes.
Electricity is not stable.
Yes,
And
internet
yet the
is not
person is there, no
stable.
internet services and stuff like that. And yet you want the person to be there. So,
Doc, let's look at current trends as a country relating itself to the world. Okay, AI. How is it affecting the job of a doctor?
yeah,
Or
AI,
how are doctors, adapting AI?
AI has
as
come
part
to
of
stay.
Their
it's
healthcare?
the new norm. So now I'm sure most of our viewers may go to the hospital. In the past, you have to have a folder.
Yes.
You carry your folder, you go to the doctor, writes,
looks at
gives
your
you the
previous
folder,
history.
and then you go to this place. Now, all you need is probably your biometric card.
Okay.
It is scanned, and then you are told to go and see your doctor.
The
You go to
doctor-
the doctor types on his computer, and you are gone. And so it is almost like everything is AI.
AI.
In fact, and I think Ghanaians have not come to grips with it, in the sense that sometimes when you hear that, oh, I went to the hospital, when I went there, the doctor was on his phone or was on the computer, or the nurse was on his phone or was on the computer. Most often, in fact, I can tell you about 90% of the time, the reason why the nurse or the doctor is on the phone is because of the fact that your information and everything
Has
is
been
on the phone.
transported.
It's there.
Yeah.
And that is what he's probably looking through to ensure. So as you are even talking to your doctor, he is looking at his phone or his tablet or his computer.
Because your age will be there, your previous
Everything-
history, if you've been to the
everything is
hospital,
there.
will be there.
So AI has become part of
That's
us.
the parcel.
And AI would even be doing far more than we are envisaging. It will come to a point in time that you probably, and now people are even doing laparoscopic surgeries. In the previous times, when you go to theater, certain surgeries, you see the doctor will take his knife and he'll give you a very big incision so that he can see this. Now you go and it's just a small hole.
And
he
you can
put
see
his
everything
his laparoscopy in there, and he can see everything. He finished the surgery, and you probably may not even see a scar. You see a small scar.
Small scar, yet a major
And
surgery
yes,
has
a major
taken
surgery
place.
has been done. The doctor may just decide that they are just going to do a surgery in the brain, and yet nobody open your brain.
Yes, it has been done.
Yes, the surgery has been done.
Through the efforts of artificial intelligence.
So they will just pass the tubes through your blood vessels, and then it goes all the way to your brain,
And
and then they
examines.
do the surgery there, and then you are done. And yet you come back, and there is no cut on your head. There is no cut anywhere, and yet you've had a brain surgery.
Previously, we would have a cut
Exactly,
and a
we
big
will
bandage.
remove the whole this thing, scalp and scalp.
take another 6 months for it to heal.
AI is something that is now part and parcel of us. And in fact, it's actually made learning also a little more easier. And so, and I'm sure it will even get to a point where it will take our jobs.
It will take our jobs.
Yes, whether we like it or not.
That is where the scare is.
No, but it is normal.
you need
It
human
will
beings
come.
to be able to
We
activate the
we will
AI.
activate, but the point is that you see the job that maybe you will require 10 people to do.
Okay, now
Because of
maybe
AI, you
2
probably
people
will have
will
about
be
2 or 3 people doing it, and the rest is being done by the
AI should be a little bit
But
soft
that
on
is
us on that
exactly
level.
where we are heading. And I keep saying that when people say AI will not take our jobs, I know it will take our jobs. Why? It's something that's a necessary thing that we'll find something else to do. So
Very
we
well.
need efficiency. So
Okay, Doc, so wrapping up, let's look at your affiliations. Can you tell us about some of your affiliations within Ghana and externally?
So externally, as Ghana Medical Association, we are part of the World Medical Association.
Great.
And so we do attend their conferences. We have constant communication with the Medical Association so that we can keep abreast with whatever is happening around the world.
Yes.
Again, we have not lost our roots with the British Medical Association. So we still have some affiliation with the British Medical Association. And by extension, the Commonwealth Medical Association. And then in the sub-region, there is actually the African Medical Association, the AFMA.
Okay.
So it means that even beyond that, we do have a relationship on all of those levels. There are some loose affiliations with some sister associations that are Ghanaian-based associations outside the country. You can pick the Ghana Physicians and Surgeons Foundation that is based in North America. So they are also one of the affiliations that we do have. And in fact, they are really helping a lot because now, even for some of the faculties that we don't have people to teach in the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, they are the ones who
come in to volunteer to
teach those ones. And they are offering exchange programs as well for some of our students who are specializing in certain fields to leave from here to go and learn and come back.
That is great.
So those kind of affiliations are helping a lot.
That is great.
We do have certain affiliations with some institutions within country. Roche, for example, is one major partner. And the reason why I mention Roche is that now as we speak, they are supporting doctors to specialize in medical oncology. So already they have supported us in conjunction with the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons to send 2 people to Kenya who are doing their fellowship in medical oncology.
Great.
There is another 2 the 2 people who are ready to go now as we speak. The funding is ready. That will be leaving. Even though we are working with others to try and do the same, but we want to see whether everything is finalized. But Roche is done
doing a
and
great
dusted,
job.
and it's done that we are doing. And this is with GMA, and so these are some of the things GMA is doing. But people don't know that we are helping to train even some of the specialists to come back and help in medical oncology fields and other fields. The same way as we know, organized labor has come. We are part of organized labor, even though I've always said that as part of organized labor, we still have to maintain our identity. So that we are not swallowed by other things, because what we do is unique and what others do is also unique. So if you are not careful, so our forum, our own forum.
Yes, our own forum.
It's there.
Forum for public sector.
Exactly.
You know.
So we do have affiliations,
unions and
associations. Even here within there's the wider health sector, joint sector, collaboration that we also have with our nurses, our pharmacists, our laboratory, our physician assistants, and all of that. So that collaboration is also
and in overall, we are part of
ILO and all of that. So it's quite. We are doing well. We didn't used to be too active in some of those activities, but now gradually we
see you everywhere.
Actually coming up.
GMA, when you call them and they are not coming for the meeting, they'll be like, no, we have to come. GMA must be there before we start. And it is always good to have you in those meetings. Your voice and your advocacy is always needed.
Thank you very much. We are learning from you guys.
So Dr. Silva, your last, words, more especially to your members, and maybe a final thing to government.
So for my members, I think that one of the key things that I want to tell them is that as Ghana Medical Association, we do have an identity that our forefathers left with us.
Yes.
And that is to be able to serve the people of Ghana and offer the best services that we can offer them. So wherever we find ourselves, let's do our best to make sure that we are able to do what we are supposed to do and also make our forefathers proud.
Yes.
For governments, my message is simple. They know that we have issues. They understand that we do have some outstanding issues with them, conditions of service that they are trying to vary, that we are not happy about. The car waiver is one. Our market premium is another thing. And then, of course, the issue with the investors. They should ensure they resolve them before they boils over, because it's something that we don't want to happen. But if government doesn't take care, now maybe we are doing background, but it comes to a point in time we can't convince our members anymore. And so something has to give. So I think that if they are listening and they are watching, it is something that we believe they should be looking at. And also the doctors who are home and the other health workers who are home. I'll speak for the nurses, I'll speak for the pharmacists, the physician assistants, all of them, lab technicians, all of them help to make the work complete and efficient. Please, we need all of them. We need the doctors, we need the nurses, we need the laboratory technicians and scientists, we need the physician assistants, we need all of them so that we can provide better healthcare. Otherwise, most of our facilities will just become white elephants. They are there and the human resource is not available for us to be able to move forward. So that is my message.
Thank you very much. Well, viewers, all too soon, our time is up. And I must admit that this has been a fruitful discussion, and I hope it has deepened your appreciation of these medical professionals who matter when it comes to effective healthcare delivery in our country, Ghana. We will invite Dr. Srebo once again to the studio because there's more to uncover when it comes to healthcare delivery in Ghana. Doctor, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having
your
me.
experience, knowledge.
Thank you so much.
It's
been quite
grateful.
exciting, and
our members should be very grateful when they watch this particular program, and I'm sure they will follow Walatu Walasa on Clock TV.
Sure.
This has been your host, Edmond Akwe, and I leave you with this thought. It is often said that good health is the foundation of national development. But behind every doctor, there must be systems that work and the voices that must be heard. This has been Walatu Walasa, where labor speaks and history lives. Work hard, stay focused, be productive, and see you again next week. Bye-bye for now.
Mambo, nyanya, woso, ayiwa,